There is one sentence that quietly keeps a lot of successful men trapped. This is just a season. Sounds responsible. It sounds temporary. It sounds like something a committed provider would say, and that's exactly why it's so dangerous. This lie works because it's wrapped in the things that sound good. I'm building, I'm providing, and I'm doing this for them. Those things may be even true, but they do not cancel the cost of your absence. For most men, that season just never ends. It changes form after this launch, after this deal, after this hire, after this quarter, after things stabilize. The problem is, things rarely stabilize on their own. The pressure just changes shape. While you're calling it temporary, your family's experiencing something very permanent. Your absence, not always physical absence, but often it's emotional absence, mental absence, relational absence. This is what makes the lie so costly. And if you keep repeating this, it's not a season, it's a pattern. And once you name it as a pattern, you can now deal with it honestly instead of excusing it with just noble language. Men repeat this because their identity is tied to being needed. Pressure builds them, urgency validates them, work rewards them. So when life gets intense, they drift towards the place where they feel the most useful, and then they call it temporary. A lot of men do not just run a business that depends on them. They become men who need to be depended on, and that feels like leadership, but it's quietly becoming a trap. Work feels better because it's clear. It is more measurable. The feedback is faster. The wins are obvious. At home, the wins are quieter. Listening well does not give you a dashboard. Patience does not ring the bell. Presence is powerful, but it's not flashy. When things get emotionally heavy or unclear at home, many men drift back to work because this is where they feel most competent. Not because they love their family less, but because this is where their identity is the strongest. And while you're calling it a season, your family's adapting. Expectations are lower, requests get quieter, and they stop pulling as hard for your attention. Now, that doesn't mean that things are improving. It often means that the pattern is just settling in. So here's the question: what in your life have you been calling temporary that has actually become part of your family's normal? If you answer that honestly, you're already closer to change that than most men will ever get. So this is where the change begins. Finish one sentence honestly. This stops here when it comes to maybe it is checking your phone during dinner. Maybe it's missing bedtime. Maybe it's mentally leaving the room when you're at home. Name it clearly. You have to decide in advance, not when the interruption hits, not when the phone lights up, not when the opportunities show up, but before it happens. Because if you wait for the moment, you will rationalize, you'll negotiate, and you will choose the old way again. Pick what gets protected first: dinner, bedtime, one promise, one block of time that no longer flexes around work. Not because it's convenient, but because it matters. Do not try to become a whole new man in one day. Interrupt once in real life this week. One moment where you would normally choose work and choose presence instead. This is how a pattern begins to break. The test will look small, just this once. Quick task, urgent ping, late message, one tiny thing. This is how the old pattern recruits you right back in. Not with drama, but with small permission. Winning is not being needed everywhere. Winning is being present where it matters most. That is a different scorecard, and most men have never been taught to measure that. Run a 7-day pattern break. Day 1, name the pattern. Day 2, decide in advance. Day 3, protect one moment. Day 4, do it again. Day 5, notice where you slip. Day 6, repair fast. Day 7, keep going. This is not about inspiration. It's about interruption and repetition. The reason this matters is simple. Later is where regret lives. The whole lie depends on you believing that later you'll be available, but later is not guaranteed, and childhood doesn't wait. If this feels personal, do not leave it as conviction alone. Go get the book, Before They Stop Asking. Go to beforetheystopasking.com/book. The link will also be in the description below. In the next video, we're going to go into something that a lot of men do not want to face directly: what their absence actually has cost their wife, even when nothing exploded on the surface. So we'll see you in the next video.